Let's jump, though, right to the present. The Osuna case, which casts this model front office and model organization in a different light. What do you make of that?
Well, pick your word, Bob. Problematic, questionable, morally troubling. One thing you can say about the Astros, though, is they have a tolerance for negative public relations that outstrips most organizations. This is a team that, on purpose, was the worst team in baseball for 3 straight years. This is a team that failed to sign the #1 overall draft pick in 2014. Look, their whole process was designed to do one thing, to win. To them, winning is the cure-all. That's the bet they're making here with Roberto Osuna, that if he helps them win again, all of this will be forgotten.
One of the internal dynamics that will have to be managed, and I think Justin Verlander has taken a few steps already in moderating some of his public comments, but he's had some rather outspoken things to say about domestic violence as an issue and the plague on sports and in the person of athletes who are guilty of it. So now you've got that, and you've got when Osuna joins the team, I guess he's going to address the club, but they've got to manage all of that.
They do have to manage all of that. And one of the things that Jeff Luhnow said is that the clubhouse is filled with high-character people. In fact, that was part of the design of the team, looking beyond the stats to the person, to the people that are in that clubhouse to make the club a sum of more than its parts. How do you square that with adding someone like Roberto Osuna? Well, I think the fact that he was the youngest closer ever to reach 100 saves, in this case, probably outstripped any concerns about his character. And the hope has to be, however far-fetched it might be, that people like Carlos Correa and Jose Altuve and Justin Verlander will help him find the right path forward.
And that risk-reward arrow goes towards take the risk when you've got all of that talent. All right, so let's talk about a couple of the guys you just mentioned because they're injured. Altuve currently injured, Correa as well, McCann, and just recently, just the other evening, George Springer. So now you've got to manage that situation. Yeah, they got a 4-game lead, but it's the long dog days of August are approaching.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a mirror image, Bob, of what happened last August that, in fact, spurred them to make that trade deadline deal for Justin Verlander. They were in the doldrums last August, too. Correa was injured back then. Of course, the city was going through its own troubles with Hurricane Harvey. But again, this is not a team that does anything rashly. It's a team with a long-term goal in mind. They're not going to overreact to short-term issues.
Let's talk about J.D. Martinez, who's having a monster year across the league, though, and who got cut loose, said, I'd fix my swing in 2014, and the club didn't buy it. They said, no, you're damaged goods, you're gone.
This is probably, at least until we'll see what happens with Osuna, the biggest mistake that they made along the way. The Astros are often accused of being know-it-alls, of being arrogant. They're not like that. As I write in the book, their system is designed to make marginally more correct decisions than the opposition, and they certainly did that. That doesn't mean they're perfect. Their biggest mistake, in fact, came at the end of spring training of 2014. Martinez had gone down to Venezuela. He'd fixed his swing. He came into spring training. He said, guys, I think I figured something out here. Give me one chance this spring. Give me a chance to show you that I figured something out. They didn't. They gave him 18 at-bats, and they cut him. A couple days later, Martinez came back as a member of the Tigers, hit 3 home runs, almost 4 in a spring training game. Jeff Luhnow was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? What he had done was cut a genuine superstar. But look, the Astros don't write off these mistakes. They learn from them. One thing they learned is that when a player comes in spring training and says, I think I figured something out, they're going to give him a chance to show them.